Hey guys, we're the Sports Addicts podcast, and we're back today with our Eastern Conference first round playoff predictions. So, playoffs are set to start on Monday, August 17th, and with the seeding being set in the East and the West, we're going to offer our predictions for who we think is going to win each series. So, starting off with the first Eastern series, the number 1 seed versus the number 8 seed, we have the Bucks versus the Magic. So, Sai, who do you have winning that series?
Yeah, so for the first series, the Bucks and the Magic, I have the Bucks sweeping the Orlando Magic. I just think the Bucks are obviously a better team. They're the number one seed in the East for a reason, and they just have too much talent when you compare them to Orlando. Orlando, they pretty much have a lot of role players along with one of their better players who isn't really that great in my opinion, in Nikola Vucevic. Their team overall is just barely scraped into the playoffs, and I think they just made it because of the lackluster Eastern Conference, and I feel like the Bucks are just way better, and as a result, I have them going for 4-0 sweep.
Yeah, no debate there. The one guy that could have possibly at least tried to guard Giannis was Jonathan Isaac, and he tore his ACL. So at this
Yeah,
point, the Magic, they just hopefully trying to win one game and have some pride. Oh, that we beat the Bucks once. So
exactly.
moving on to the next series, Nets versus Raptors. Who do you have for that?
Yeah, so for the Nets versus Raptors, I have the Raptors winning 4-1. So the Raptors, obviously are a better team. The Nets this year they're not built to win it all without their superstars Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and they have a lot of players obviously missing from the bubble like Spencer Dinwiddie. And I feel like the Nets, their roster is depleted, which is why they have to sign so many different veterans like Lance Thomas and Jamal Crawford and people like that. And as a result, their team is just patched up together, and they don't really even have a coach yet. So I think the Raptors are just going to overwhelm them, and I think the Nets could steal a game because Toronto could take it easy on them a little bit. But I think overall the Raptors should easily breeze past the Nets.
Oh yeah, the outcome I agree with, but I really don't think the Nets have any hope of winning. Their one consistent offensive player was Karis LeVert, and the Raptors are one of the best defensive teams in the NBA, and they'll be able to shut them down. And I actually expect to blow out all 4 of the games.
Yeah, it's possible, but I just think the Nets maybe one of the games Karis LeVert could blow up and get 40 points, and as a result they'll probably sneak one out at home or
Yeah,
something.
that's true. And now moving on to the more interesting series, Celtics, the number 3 seed versus the Philadelphia 76ers, the Ben Simmons-less Philadelphia 76ers. Who do you have?
Yeah, so I have the Celtics winning in 6. So I have them winning 4-2, obviously. And the Celtics, they just got a really big break, in my opinion, that Ben Simmons is now out. So because Ben Simmons, obviously, is one of the best players on the 76ers. And without him, I feel like 76ers don't have a guy who can distribute the ball throughout their better players like Tobias Harris and Al Horford and Joel Embiid, obviously. So I think the Sixers pretty much without their the best of coaching with Brett Brown, I think the Sixers are pretty much doomed. And I think the Celtics from top to bottom, without even though they don't have a great big man, I think they're just better and better coaching. They have better guards, so I think the Celtics most likely are going to win the series, and I have them winning in 6.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see because as we saw, the Sixers coming into this season, they're the favorites, right? They have a great lineup on paper, and on paper, if you look at it, the Sixers have the size over everyone. I mean, Joel Embiid's 7 feet, 250 something pounds, and then their best defensive center, the Celtics' best defensive center, is Daniel Theis, and he's really undersized compared to those. And now you also have Horford, who
Yeah, I think. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I mean the Horford and Embiid. If you match them up with if Horford and Embiid are on the floor at the same time as power forward and center, the Celtics really don't have the length to guard that matchup. And I really do expect that although Horford hasn't played as well as Philly hoped that he would, I really think that Horford and Embiid will be able to make this a close series. I expect the series to go to Game 7.
Yeah, but I think that, as you said, it is a matchup on paper that the Sixers look like they're going to win. But if you look at in the regular season when they had their stars on the court, like Ben Simmons, Al Horford, and Josh Richardson and Tobias Harris and Joel Embiid in the starting lineup, they couldn't win games. They were dysfunctional, which is why they end up in the 6th seed, even though the talent should be ahead of the Pacers, the Heat, and even the Raptors. They have more talent than the teams. It's just that they can't put it together on paper, which is why I remember Al Horford went to the bench at one point because they're not able to keep him and Embiid on the floor successful.
You have to remember that the thing with Simmons, Embiid, and Horford was that Simmons couldn't shoot, right? So he always drove, and then
Yeah,
Horford and Embiid they clogged.
putting in Shake Milton isn't much better, right? So
he's a way better shooter than
He's a better
Simmons.
shooter. Yeah, that's true. But he's not a playmaker. So it's pretty much a one man show in Joel Embiid, in my opinion.
I feel like Embiid's now gonna have more space in the paint because he's not gonna have people driving in, and the Sixers do have some capable shooters. Tobias Harris can shoot. Horford hasn't been shooting great, but he's proven before that he can shoot. And we've also seen guys like Furkan Korkmaz, Matisse, Table, all those guys. They can hit the three ball. So I feel like the Sixers game plan should be just throw up the ball to Embiid in the post, let him work. If he sees an open man, toss it out in the corner. And I really think that's actually going to be a pretty effective strategy because Embiid, without Simmons on the floor, he's been a beast. And when healthy, he's been a beast. So I expect him to actually average like 35 plus a game, have a really great series.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely possible. But the Sixers still have the talent. Like even with the loss of Simmons, they still have the talent. But I think Simmons, he's a great player both ends of the floor. His defense is really underrated in my opinion. I think he's one of the best defensive point guards. Obviously, he's a bigger point guard, but one of the best defensive point guards in the league. And I think him not having him on the defensive end is a little like a liability at this point for the Sixers because Shake Milton isn't the defender he is, and Tobias Harris already is like a below average defender in my opinion. So I think the defense is going to hurt for 76ers as well.
Yeah, like my point is like I don't think Simmons' losses is gonna be like it's obviously gonna be felt with his defensive and capabilities and like his ability to spread the floor, but I don't think it's gonna affect the Sixers as much because actually when Simmons played during the bubble, they had a worse net rating with Simmons on the court than they did off the court. So I don't know. The Celtics will probably win it, but I expect it to be a tight series.
Yeah, I feel like the games would be close, as you said, but I think the Celtics just have a little bit too much talent. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
so now moving on to the
to
4 and 5 seed matchup, the Heat versus the Pacers. I have the Heat winning in 5 games. I think the Miami Heat are the most surprising team in basketball this season. I think besides the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I think the Miami Heat this year I feel like they're built to beat the Bucks. I think they have a really good shot, even though it might not make the finals. They don't have the superstar talent, but I think the role players just complement each other perfectly. And obviously, they have one of the best coaches in the NBA, in Eric Spoelstra. And I think Jimmy Butler, his impact on the Miami Heat is just second to none. And I think Miami Heat should easily beat the Pacers, who like are injury riddled this season.
I think you're overrating the Heat. The Heat, they're a great defensive team. Sure, Bam Adebayo is like the probably like the best person to guard Giannis. Yeah, sure, you have a point about them being like the team that could beat the Bucks, but their offense, on the other hand, it's basically one dimension. I don't see this offense being strong enough to beat the Bucks or the Pacers for that matter. I believe that if Jimmy Butler gets shut down or there's no ball, Jimmy Butler's their facilitator. So if he gets shut down, the ball doesn't spread as much. Guys like Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, they won't get the ball as much. And I feel like the Pacers, although yeah they did lose Sabonis, they lost other people. Miles Turner is a good defensive center. He'll be able to contain like the Adebayo pick and rolls that he runs with Dragic or Butler. I feel like this series is going to go the Pacers' way because you have Butler on Warren. Then you have two guards, Malcolm Brogdon and Oladipo. And as we saw Brogdon at the beginning of the season, he was playing tremendously well. And Oladipo, obviously, Warren's outburst in the bubble overshadowed how good actually Oladipo was. He's played remarkably consistent, and I feel like his body's going to hold up now. And we're going to see the Oladipo that we saw before he got injured.
Yeah, but I think the talent on the Pacers, it obviously looks better on paper. Like they have the bigger names, Miles Turner, Oladipo, and Malcolm Brogdon, right? But if you look at the Heat's roster from top to bottom, they have incredible depth. Like if you look at their bench, they have the 6-man Goran Dragic, right? They've been playing without Kendrick Nunn, who left the bubble for personal reasons.
Dragic's been really inconsistent in the bubble. He's had some great games, and then he's had some terrible games.
But the thing is, they've overcome all of his inconsistencies, right? If you look at the Heat, they've lost 4 out of their 7 games. But if you look at it, Jimmy Butler didn't even play in most of the games. So if you look at the Heat, I think that they're just ready to face the Pacers, and I think that on paper they're just like a perfect matchup for them. If they can just shut down Victor Oladipo, I don't think T.J. Warren can do anything. I think T.J. Warren's just like a anomaly at this point. I think he's played a really good first half of the bubble. I don't think he's gonna show up in the playoffs.
See, the thing is, like, okay, let's say your point about T.J. Warren is true. He's an anomaly. Either way, they still have to put the Jimmy Butler's probably going to be guarding Warren. Last time that he played the Pacers, that's what we saw, the Butler on Warren matchup. And now you have two guards, Brogdon and Victor Oladipo. Both of them can facilitate. They can go one-on-one and score at ease. So and you don't really have guys that could guard both of them. I mean, sure, you could put Iguodala in and he can guard one of them, but then the other one's for you to score buckets. And I feel like the Pacers have a bunch of scoring threats. And Miles Turner.
The Pacers, okay, look. So the Pacers, right? As you said, they do have a bunch of scoring threats, but every single player needs the ball. Like if you look at their team, besides Miles Turner, every single player needs the ball. Sabonis isn't a catch and shoot player, right? Sabonis, even if he comes back, he's a post player, right? And then if you look at Oladipo, he obviously needs the ball. And you look at Malcolm Brogdon, he needs the ball. He's not like a spot up shooter like the Heat have. The Heat have, if you look at the roster, they have 5 to 6 players who can just stand at the 3-point line and knock down shots consistently. And like with Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, even Kelly Olynyk's been great in the bubble. So if you look at the Miami Heat, I don't know. I think they're a perfect matchup for the Pacers, and I don't think the Pacers really have a shot.
I don't know. I feel like it's going to go to Game 7, and then that Game 7 could go either way. But I'm going to go with the Pacers 4-3 because I really believe that even without Sabonis coming back, I feel like Oladipo's going to play up to the stats that people expected him to. He's going to be like the old Oladipo that we knew, and I feel like that's going to be enough to lift the Pacers over the Heat.
Yeah, it's definitely possible, but yeah, a different opinion. So I think that's going to wrap up our Eastern Conference predictions for the first round. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.